Hi guys! Happy Friday! How is everyone doing? I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to come in here. There's a few people that were really excited about learning about public speaking. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes to enter the room. I'm just going to make sure there's no member requests for the Facebook group. And just so you know too, if you miss the live stream here, you can always watch it after. You'll see the replay, so it's totally fine. So I see a couple people that want to join, which I'm going to let in. Perfect. So I'm just going to hop right into it and get started. So guys, next week I'm going to be in New York, and I am so excited because I'm going to be working with 6 Degree Society and doing a live event there on how to create your own yes in life. So how to first off figure out what it is that you're good at, figure out what it is that you want to do, and then have the confidence and have the courage to actually go after it. Because I know there's so many people that have this big idea in their head. I was the same way. I had this big idea in my head of what it was that I wanted to do and what it was that I wanted to create, but I didn't know how to get there. And I sometimes was afraid to tell people about it. Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for joining, guys. I was afraid to tell people about it. And so I remember when I first started, I had all of these fears, and I was able to overcome it and obviously grow Yes Supply and grow my business. And so when I'm in New York next week, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be sharing with everybody how to create that strategy, how to go after what you want, build those partnerships, and get over the mindset things that kind of hinder us and hold us back. So if there's, yay, Tiffany. So guys, let me know if you have any questions specifically about public speaking. I'm happy to answer them here. And also let me know if you've ever done any public speaking before, or if you're planning on doing public speaking, or you think that it's something that you want to work on in the future. Or live streams too. Live streams have been huge for my business, really helped me connect with people on a more personal level than just posting on Instagram or just posting on Twitter. Live streams are the way that your community actually feels like they know you as a person. It's like sitting on the couch talking to someone versus just reading their post. So if you guys have any questions at all or you need any help, leave them below. Also, if you know anybody who is thinking about starting a business or maybe has started their own business but is struggling, invite them to this group. Invite them, let them know what Yes Supply is all about, and let them know that this is really just a supportive community that's here to help you, give you tips, give you suggestions, just cheer you on as you create your yes. And I know for myself, if I can do it, anyone can. So essentially, I created Yes Supply because I saw a huge gap in there being so many women who wanted to create a life that they loved and wanted to build a business, and then the people who had already done it not actually sharing a lot of that advice of how they did it. So I created the Yes Supply Collective to give people that one-on-one advice that they need, give them access to speak to mentors and ask the real questions that they have to create that dream life and that dream business, and to encourage people with the self-love and self-confidence that they need to actually go through with it. Because a lot of times those voices in our head that tells us that we're not good enough can be the thing that stops us. So definitely share this with your friends and anybody that you think could benefit from Yes Supply. So with that, I'm going to get right into it. So essentially a year ago, if you had asked me to do public speaking, I would have froze up. Anytime that I had to get in front of a group of people, even if it was just a small group of people at my old job, I could feel my hands shaking. I felt my stomach like twisting. I would nervously feel like I had to pee. Like it was really embarrassing, really bad. And I just was not somebody who was comfortable with public speaking. But I knew that the type of business that I wanted to grow was something that I had to get comfortable with getting in front of people. And I'm such a people person. I love talking to people in small groups. Just big groups really, really scared me. So there was a few things that I did to get really, really comfortable with public speaking. Thanks for the hearts. There was a few things that I did to get comfortable with public speaking, and now I actually get excited to do public speaking. I get excited if I get an opportunity. Before I go up, which is the time that I used to be the most nervous, that's the time when I'm most excited. So I've learned how to channel that fear into anticipation, into excitement, and it's possible. There's a saying that says, thanks, Lindsay. There's a saying that says that fear is fear is excitement without breath. So essentially, if you put breath into your fear, you're going to feel that excitement and you're going to charge into anything that you want to do with a lot more courage. And people are going to feel that confidence and feed off of it. So my first tip for you guys, if you're doing live streams, for me, if I go into something with an objective, it helps me stay focused. It helps my message become clear. And remember that public speaking and live streaming isn't just about what you say. It's about your body language. It's about the way that you communicate. So even if you trip over a few words or mess up things here and there, a lot of times people won't notice those little trip ups if you have your objective in mind and you know what feeling you want to create. If you're able to have someone leave your public speaking or your live stream with a specific feeling, then you've done your job. And so go into it with an objective, not just of what you want them to know, but how you want them to feel. And so everything that I do, whether it's public speaking or whether it's a live stream, I go into it knowing or thinking, I want every single person that's there to feel empowered. I want every single person that's there to know that they can start to create the life that they want with their current resources. And it's really important for you to know that even if you're not the best public speaker in the world or the most educated person in the world, if you just start today and you just take action, things are gonna, that path that seemed blurry, it's going to open up. And before you know it, it's going to become very clear for you what the next step is to take. When I started Yes Supply, I had no idea what it was going to be. It was just a blog where I was sharing ideas and interviewing people about things that I was passionate about. And before I knew it, I had built this following and built this amazing community of you guys. And I realized that this is something that I can actually do for a living. But if I hadn't just started, even when things were a little bit blurry, I wouldn't have been able to get to that point. So I do want to remind you to just start and the path will become clear. So have that objective and talk about something that you're already knowledgeable about. So also when I first started with public speaking and I first started with live streaming, I would get so nervous and feel like, oh my God, I don't know enough. I would do all this research, read all these blog posts, read all these articles, try and watch all the videos about it and try and know everything. But the thing is, in the business that you're creating or in the project that you're putting out there, you don't need to know every single thing that's out there. There are 200 million blog posts published every single day. There's no way that you're ever going to know every single thing that's out there. So don't focus on trying to know everything, or don't feel inadequate if you know that you don't know everything, because who you want to help in your business isn't somebody who's been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. Who you want to help in your business is somebody who's just a few steps behind you, who's just starting out. And so to them, you're the expert and you're able to communicate and teach them what you've already learned, what you've already gone through, what you've succeeded on, and what you've already made mistakes in. So don't get into analysis paralysis of trying to research every single thing out there. Just have a good understanding of what you want to communicate. So it could be an experience that you've already been through, lessons that you've already learned, things that you've already tried. And that way, when you're speaking about them, you're going to be so much more confident. You're not going to be, you're not going to be wondering what the next thing is to say. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Because you're so knowledgeable on it, you know. And when you talk about something that you know, you talk about something that you love and you're good at, that confidence comes through. And at the end of the day, it's all about connection. Everyone really just craves connection, and they crave to be a part of something with somebody that they get along with and that they feel understands them. So if you're able to come onto your live stream and just talk about something that you've learned along the way, it'll really help somebody out there. And a perfect example of this is when I was first starting out, I was always researching and I was learning so much about online marketing and blogging and social media. And I decided to do a masterclass, but instead of doing a masterclass on the most highest level strategic thing that I had ever learned, I decided to do a masterclass instead on one of the most basic things that I had learned. And to me, it seemed almost kind of a little elementary because I had just become so comfortable with it. I felt like everyone knew it. So what I was talking about was how to start building your mailing list for free, and you can find that lesson in the collective now. But I was just talking about how to start building your mailing list for free using an opt-in and using MailChimp. And to me, that was something that I was so comfortable with and I had known for such a long time that I assumed that everyone knew it. But at the end of that masterclass, so many people came up and they said, thank you so much for that. I've been struggling with this for months. You made it so clear to me, like I finally feel like I can move forward and grow my email list. And this wasn't me asking people for advice or asking people for feedback, or these people just found what I had to share so valuable. And since I had learned it such a long time ago, it was so easy for me to communicate. And so I was able to really dig in and go step by step through the process with them. And I was probably the only person who was explaining that process so simplistic and so step by step. So don't worry about being like the Einstein of whatever it is you're doing. Just worry about communicating what you already know to the best case in the best way you possibly can to the person that you want to help. And so it is really important for you to have a good understanding of who it is your business is for, who it is that you want to help, and have that strong, unique selling proposition, have that strong, unique value proposition so you know exactly who it is that you're willing to help, and you can really dig in and give them the best value anywhere that you show up, whether it's through public speaking or whether it's through doing your live stream. So the next thing that you want to do is practice. I know that this seems like obviously you have to practice, but there are certain ways that you can practice if you're not yet comfortable with public speaking. So what I did was I would map out everything that I was going to say in my public speaking. So like I said before, I had the objective. I figured out what my opener was going to be. I figured out what the 3 to 4 main topics I was going to talk about were, and then I figured out how I was going to end it and how I was going to wrap it all together. And what I would do is I would just practice at home. At first, I was even nervous to practice. This is so funny. First, I was even nervous to practice in front of my fiance. I thought like my fiance would judge me or, think that what I had to say was weird or whatever. So at first, I just practiced alone. And then when I got comfortable practicing by myself, practicing in the mirror and kind of taking a look at my body language and taking a look at my gestures, then I practiced in front of him. And then I would practice in front of a few friends. Then what I started to do was volunteer to lead more meetings at work at my old job. And I just got more comfortable with putting myself out there and saying what was on my mind. And, I'm sure we've all had an example of being in a meeting at work or being somewhere where you really have something to say, but you're afraid to say it because you think that people might judge you. So what I started to do was I just ignored that fear. And if something was on my mind, then that meant that it needed to be said. And I just decided to say what was on my mind, whether people agreed or they didn't. And by just voicing my opinions at work, it got me more comfortable with elaborating on my thoughts and putting those dots together. A lot of times if we're not comfortable with public speaking, it's because we haven't had that practice of having to talk for long periods of time and having to string those ideas together. So just even by participating more at work, thanks Danielle, I love you so much for coming. So even by participating more at work, speaking up maybe when you're with groups of friends at dinner, just being a little bit louder, it's going to get you so much more comfortable with stringing those ideas together. And I used to be somebody who was always very quiet. I remember being a kid and I'd be driving somewhere with my friends and their parent, I was a kid so I wasn't driving, I was in the back seat, and their parents would always say, wow, she's so quiet, and they would kind of talk about me being quiet as a good thing. But when you're older, we kind of live in a world that is more structured or more biased towards people who are extroverted. So if you don't put yourself out there, especially with your business, if you don't put your business out there, people are going to forget about you. And it's not because your business isn't valuable, and it's not because your products aren't good. I'll bet you anything your products are amazing, but it's because we are bombarded with so much distractions every day, so many things coming at us. I know for myself, I get hundreds of emails a day. You see hundreds of visuals a day through Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever it is. So if you're not constantly putting yourself out there, people are going to forget about what you have to say and what you're planning on doing and move on to the next thing. So get comfortable with just putting yourself out there in small groups with your friends, with your family, whatever it is. And then you can take the next step of practice. So what I did was I actually signed up for this community called Toastmasters. And Toastmasters, it's about $150 for the year, and you just get an opportunity to speak in front of small groups of people. And these people will critique you, they'll tell you what you did well, they'll tell you what you did wrong. But the best part of it is just getting that experience of speaking in front of people. That is key. It's like a muscle. If you don't go to the gym, the first time you go to the gym, it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt. But if you go to the gym and you just practice a little every single day, you'll get stronger at whatever it is that you're trying to do. So just practice and put yourself out there. If Toastmasters isn't the thing for you, if you're not into going to practice public speaking, what you can try and do is just participate in your community more. So volunteer in front of groups of people, maybe putting on events. It's really fun to put on events, or maybe get a group of like 5 or 6 friends who are entrepreneurial that you know could benefit from public speaking, and just invite them over to your house, have some snacks, have some wine, and just practice pitching on each other. Because at the end of the day, if you go out to an event and you meet someone new and they ask you what your business is and you can't really elaborate on your business in a way that is memorable to people, then again, people are going to forget about you. What you want is to be able to elaborate on your business in a way that is catchy, that makes you sound unique, and that way that person will be like, wow, that's cool, and they're going to remember you. So if you say like, hey, I'm a wedding planner for high-end weddings, they're going to be like, okay, I remember you. And every time they meet somebody who needs a wedding planner, they're going to think of you, you're going to get a referral. You say, I'm a graphic designer for Christmas cards. Okay, I remember, she's a graphic designer. Every time they meet someone who needs a graphic designer, you're going to get a referral. So it is really important to get comfortable with speaking up. Danielle is asking, how did I find that? That is what I need. So Danielle, Toastmasters is actually an international company. So depending on what city you're in, I'm sure what you can do is just Google Toastmasters My City. So if you're in Toronto, you could just Google Toastmasters Toronto, and then something will come up and it will tell you where there's clubs. What you can also do if you don't want to join Toastmasters, there's this thing called meetup.com, and they have tons of different types of meetups. There's meetups for like, you know, people who like shopping, people who like cocktails, people who like speaking French. There's like hundreds of different types of meetups. So what you could do is see if there's a public speaking practice meetup in your area. And if there's not, that might be a good opportunity for you to create one and for you to get practice taking leadership and leading that on with your community, and you'll see that you'll grow in public speaking, but also as a leader, as well as the people who join the meetup with you. So I'd love to hear, Danielle, and whoever's on the line, I sound like a radio person, but whoever's watching, what kind of public speaking are you interested in doing, or what kind of live streaming are you interested in doing? And definitely let me know if you have any more questions. So practice. So essentially, as I was saying, practice starting small, practice in your room if you need to, and slowly ease into the next level of practice. And that's exactly what I did. I started in my room, and then I graduated to doing periscopes. I did a lot of periscopes because it got me kind of ready to do live streams and ready to kind of take on whoever showed up in Periscope, because I knew I couldn't really practice. Anything can happen in a Periscope. There's also some weird people that show up on Periscope that say weird stuff, like lots of spammy people. So you kind of have to be ready for everything, but that gets you used to thinking on your feet. And then before you know it, you'll want to do public speaking in person. Live stream gives you the hive, Z. Okay, cool, Z. Am I pronouncing that right, Z? Let me know. And that's so funny because I was kind of the opposite. I was a little bit more comfortable with live streaming, but public speaking scared me. So Z, what you could do, if you want, you're in the collective. Maybe if you can think of something that we all want to learn about, you could do a little live stream for the group of us in the collective, and just practice doing like a 10-15 minute live stream and see how it feels, and I'll be there. And what you could also do is, if you have Periscope, download Periscope. And if you just start on Periscope, there won't be a ton of people following you, but it'll just get you used to live streaming, and you'll realize like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. And no one's like throwing tomatoes. You're kind of safe when you're doing a live stream, because worst case scenario, if you feel like you mess up, you just stop and you just press delete, right? So you can kind of escape. Yeah, we can talk about that after. But yeah, you can kind of escape if you're really unhappy with your Periscope. You can just delete it. Honestly, I've deleted Periscopes before that I wasn't happy with. So Periscope is a great place to start, and then you can kind of graduate to a group of 5 people, a group of 10 people, a group of 20 people, a group of 50 people, like what I'm doing next week. So start small and then kind of move up to it. Now, this point is the most important. Actually, there's one point that's more important, but this point is like the second most important. So this point I'm going to talk about is ruling out the negative self-talk. Okay, so every single person in the world has a certain type of neural network that's programmed to make them think a certain way. So I used to be the type of person that if I messed something up, you know, if I typed out an email and had a mistake, or I said the wrong awkward thing, or whatever it is, the first thing my brain would think to is, oh my God, you're so stupid, or like, oh, you idiot, how could you do that? And my neural networks were programmed to instantly go straight to negative, instantly go to negative self-talk, talk myself down, make myself feel like I wasn't good enough. So what you really want to do, and you can look this up, it's really interesting to learn about neural networks and how they work, but what you can do is try to reprogram your neural networks so that you program yourself to say positive things to yourself. And guys, when you program yourself to say positive things to yourself, your whole life changes. Because essentially, fear is just having a negative expectation. Fear is going into something saying the worst thing is going to happen. Yeah, Tiffany, I've been there. That's why the Good Morning Beautiful emails are so good, because they program you to say something good to yourself every single day. So, I would go into something instantly thinking, I'm going to mess up. You know, if I was doing public speaking, I'd be up there saying, you know, it's not going to work out. I'm going to forget what I have to say. I'm going to get up there and freeze. And because I was saying all these negative things to myself, of course something negative is going to happen. If you're going into something telling yourself, I'm going to mess up, I'm going to forget what I'm going to say, you're prepping yourself to forget everything that you're going to say. You're telling your mind, okay, make sure that I forget everything I'm going to say, because you're prepping your mind for it. So practice, and I almost knocked over my tripod. So rebuilding your neural networks means programming your mind to instantly say something nice to yourself even if something bad happens. And so that's why I started the Good Morning Beautiful emails, because how I noticed that they were working is one day I sent out, this is like something I haven't told anyone, but I sent out an email to my whole Yes Supply list. It was kind of when I was first starting out, so there wasn't a ton of people on it, but there's probably about 500 people on it. So I sent out an email to my whole Yes Supply list, and I forgot to change the subject line, and the subject line was test. And for a second, I was mortified. And in my head, instead of telling myself, you're so stupid, you're not good enough to run a business, all the normal things I told myself, my brain told myself, it's okay, you won't do it again. And it's like, I had a moment. I was like, oh my God, I just gave myself a pep talk. Like, that's crazy, because before I wasn't the type of person to, you know, be nice to myself. And so by getting up in the morning, guys, even if you're not part of the collective and you don't get the Good Morning Beautiful emails every day, just getting up in the morning and saying something nice to yourself is so, so, so important. And if you can't think of anything nice to yourself to say every morning, sign up for the collective at YesApply.co-collective, and you'll get daily morning motivation and a mantra so you can say something nice to yourself. And believe me, it helps you. If you do a habit like that for 21 days, it helps you reprogram your neural networks and instantly resort to thinking that good things are going to happen. So now, like, I still go to Toastmasters, and now I actually win awards all the time, because I go into my speeches, and instead of thinking, I'm going to mess this up, I'm going to forget what to say, I go into the speech thinking, I bet you anything, there's someone in this room that I can help today. And I bet you anything, there's somebody that I can inspire today. Which kind of leads me into my next point, which I think is the most important point, which is switching your focus. So whether you're doing a live stream or whether you're doing public speaking, usually we focus on ourselves, right? So usually we go into it thinking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to mess up, focusing on yourself. Hi, Emily. So what I want you guys to do the next time you go into public speaking or the next time you go into live streaming, don't focus on yourself. Don't think about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Think about the people in the room. You're incredible, Emily. Think about the people in the room. Think about the people that you can potentially help or you can give knowledge to. I know, I'm super excited. That's why I thought of doing this masterclass. So essentially what I do now before I do any public speaking, and even before I do live stream, I think about the person that I can help. And I think about, I bet you there's one person out there that the advice that I give today is going to help them. Maybe I won't help anyone and every single person in the room, but if there's one person who I say something that I motivate them, that I inspire them in a certain way, that I give them an interesting stat or an interesting fact that they didn't know, then I've done my job. And so now what you do is, instead of focusing on yourself and that fear, you get up there thinking, I'm going to help somebody in this room today. And you look around the room and you remember that every single person in that room with you is just a person. And I know you guys, you're the sweetest people. You would never watch a speech and laugh at someone. You would never watch a speech and say something mean about them. And so what I want to encourage you to do is give people the benefit of the doubt. Give people the benefit of the doubt, thinking that if I'm a nice person and when I watch someone give a speech, I would never say anything mean or harmful. Believe in the people that you're surrounded by when you're doing public speaking, and believe that they're just as good-hearted and they're just as kind, and they will cheer you on or help you or support you whenever you're doing a speech as well, because the majority of people really do want to hear what you have to say. Nobody can see that fear. I remember when I first started, I was shaking inside. I was fearful. My heart, like you could hear my heart if you were standing across the room. I was so scared. And then I would sit down and people would be like, wow, you look so confident up there. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I was scared out of my mind, but only you can feel that fear, right? Nobody else can see it and nobody else can feel it. So just, have the right posture. Actually, this is something I forgot about till right now, but a great way to kind of increase your confidence is the Wonder Woman pose. There's a great, I forget her name, but I'll add the link underneath. But there's this great public speaker who talks all about confidence and how it has a positive impact on your life. And one pose that she tells you to do is the Wonder Woman pose. So doing this pose actually has a physiological effect on you. I'm sure the girls in the collective will have seen this before. So essentially what you want to do before you go into something that makes you feel nervous is you stand, the couch is in my way, but you stand like this, so you have good posture, and you stand and you open up and you let your energy and you let yourself be as big as possible, and you take up that room. And that actually has a physiological effect on your body. It makes you feel more relaxed, and it increases your testosterone. And your testosterone is actually the hormone that helps you feel more confident. So by kind of putting my bra straps are all over the place, by helping your posture and then by putting your arms out, you're making yourself bigger, you're making yourself stronger, and you're giving yourself that hormone release that you need to feel more confident. And actually, I'm just doing right now. I feel a little bit better. And another kind of tip too for physiological help is also smile. When you smile, it actually releases endorphins into your body, and you can't help but feeling better. There's something about when you move your cheeks in that certain way, it triggers something to your brain that says, this person is happy, and it sends those feel-good vibes all through your body. And now, guys, after doing this and after smiling, I feel amazing. So try it. Try it now, and then try it before you do your speech. And just push through that fear, because essentially that fear is what does fear stand for? False evidence appearing real. So the fear is not real. Thanks for the hearts, guys. You guys are so sweet. I just see a like button. Oh, cool. I can like people's comments. Awesome. Learning something new every day. I have a lot to say today, guys. So the next thing is, don't worry about perfection. So another thing that would make me feel all tense and uptight when I was first starting live streaming and public speaking was worrying about perfection. So I would write down every single little bit about my speech. I would make sure, that's my fiance, I would write down every single little bit of my speech. I would try and practice it line for line, make sure I didn't forget a word. And if I forgot something that I was going to say, I'd be so mad at myself after. I'd be like, oh, how did I forget that thing that I wanted to say, right? But don't worry about perfection so much, because if you forget to say something, most of the time people won't even notice that you've forgotten to say something. Most of the time people won't notice that it wasn't absolutely perfect. And I learned this just from doing a few speeches where I was like, oh, I missed that important thing I wanted to say, but nobody else knew that I missed it. And I realized that I was beating myself up and being mean to myself for no reason. So don't beat yourself up. Don't strive for this idea of perfection. You never know, by adding too much from it, you might actually make it less perfect. You might give people information overload. So just do what comes naturally. Talk about something you're knowledgeable about, and that human component of it, that connection is going to come through. Instead of, if you've practiced something, you might talk like a robot. You might be so used to practicing it, rehearsing over and over again. You might talk like a robot and lose that real connection, lose that storytelling aspect that helps you connect with people. And the next tip that I have for you guys, I hope you're taking notes. This is like a lot of information. The next tip that I have for you guys is tell stories. Okay, tell stories, because it helps you in two reasons. So the first reason is that people really, really connect with stories way more than just, you standing up at the front of the room and telling people what you have to say. People connect with stories so much. And the reason for this is because long before people could read and write, the way that they would communicate and the way that they would restore history is through storytelling. And storytelling is one of the strongest things that you can use for your marketing. I'm sure you'll notice that when you watch TV, or the public speakers or business owners that you connect with most, it's because of their story. And that was actually a big reason why I started Yes Supply too. It was obviously for the people that I was helping motivate them to get into entrepreneurship and to succeed, but it's also for somebody who's already an entrepreneur. Having that opportunity to share your story gives something people tangible that they can talk about and that they remember you by. You're a lot more likely to remember somebody if you know your story. I know, for example, if I talk about somebody who's inspiring to me, I won't just say, oh, this person inspires me. I'll be like, this person inspired me. They used to be broke, living in the back of a car, and then, what's falling? Oh, my necklace just fell off. That's fun. Sorry, that's weird. Bye, necklace. Yeah, so essentially, if I know someone's story, I'm so much more likely, that's so weird, I wonder where my necklace fell off. I'm going to remember them so much more because I can connect their story, and if their story has a low and a high, I'm like, wow, they started off living in their car and now they're super successful, so I believe in myself a little bit more too. So share stories, and remember, just the more that you give of yourself, the more that you get. So the more that you give, the more that you get. If you're able to give a part of yourself, if you're able to share a part of your story that's a little bit vulnerable or a little bit scary for you to share, I'll bet you anything that there's somebody out there that needs to hear your story. So for me, there's so many aspects of my story that I was so fearful to share, dealing with self-confidence, my mom's like old boyfriend, there's so many things, or, starting a business and it not working out, and how many business plans I probably have sitting in the back of my closet for things that I didn't go through with because of fear, which is why I started Yes Supply. So there's so many things that you feel vulnerable to share, but when you share them, then somebody reacts to that part of the story. They say, wow, me too. Me too. I had a bad past or a bad family life. Or me too. I have a million business ideas that I started, but I was too afraid to actually go through with. And when you're able to share that really important, that really personal part of yourself, people will connect with you so much more. They're going to remember you. They're going to be loyal to you. They're going to feel like you're part of, that they're part of your tribe because they've gotten something from you that they haven't gotten from anyone else. And so sharing stories and just making sure that you're giving a part of yourself, and I promise you, you will get that back. So guys, to recap on everything, going into public speaking, really just, hi Erin, you might have to watch the replay 'cause it's almost done, sorry girl. But yeah, give people the benefit of the doubt. Understand that anybody who, thanks for the likes, love. Understand that anybody who's watching you doing public speaking, they're just the same as you. They're there to cheer you on. They're there to support you. So don't be nervous about it. Don't go into it with fear. Think about the best case scenario that can happen. Hi. Think about, the people that you'll inspire, the people that you'll connect with, the people that you'll be able to touch or be able to explain your story or explain your reason for being so much more. For example, sharing my story about why I started Yes Supply. I can share bits and pieces through blog posts and on my About page, but the best place for me to share why I started it and why it's so important to me, and for you to be able to feel why I'm so passionate about it, is through live stream, because it's just me and you. We're here chatting. You're probably there drinking your coffee. I'm here drinking out of my Boss cup because I only drink out of things that inspire me. Yeah, guys, and don't be nervous. Practice. Start small. Practice in front of your mirror. Practice with your friend. Yeah, you're going to kill it at your event. Make sure you talk to people. Oh, put candy on your table. Sucker people in with some candy. But yeah, just go into it. Like, so my model for Yes Supply is go into it and expect the answer to be yes. Go into every single thing that you plan on doing as if you're going to get the best case scenario, and it's going to give you the motivation, inspiration, and the power to go into it full force. And just the way that you communicate and the confidence that you have when you communicate, people are going to feed off of that. They're going to feel it, and they're going to be able to connect with your brand so much more. So believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in what you're doing the most for anyone else to believe in it too. So guys, that's pretty much it for sharing my tips on public speaking and on live streaming. So if you have any other questions for me, I'm here in the group all the time, so you can leave questions for me below. Just so you know, for the girls who are in the collective, tomorrow in the collective, I'm going to be doing an exclusive training on how to attract followers. So a lot of people are worrying, how do I get followers? How do I get followers? It's not about getting followers. The trick or the secret, the strategy is attracting followers, and it's all about your content, really understanding who it is you're helping, and then strategizing your content in the right way to attract those people, make them fall in love with you, and make them be proud and happy to be a part of your tribe, okay? And you can only do that through connection and through having the right content strategy. So if you're in the collective, I'm going to be live streaming that at, amen, sister. I'm going to be live streaming that tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not already in the collective, why not? It's only $7 a month right now. The price will be raising soon for new members, but current members, anybody who signs up now, is going to be able to keep that $7 a month fee for life. So if you're not already in the collective, you can join us at yessupply.co/collective. So yessupply.co/collect. I don't know why I repeated it, but it sounds like an infomercial. But join us in the collective. It's so awesome. There's lessons on how to pick the perfect business idea for you, how to create your blog, grow your social media presence, and also daily morning motivational emails to help you reprogram those neural networks, practice positive self-talk and confidence. And so I hope to see you in the collective. And yeah, Z says join. It's awesome. So thank you so much for that, guys. And happy Friday. Like, go have an awesome night. Go spend some time with your friends, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm off to get my nails done. I'm super excited. Thanks.